Hey everybody, it's me, Will.
And me, Kristen.
Welcome back to another live recording of Guide to the Unknown.
Yeah, happy you're here. Hi, CBFR.
We're back once again.
It is not about furries, but you can feel free to talk about them in the chat if you so choose.
Yes.
That's on you.
You know what? Your life is your life.
Absolutely.
You've got to be true to yourself.
Look, you're entitled to your own interests.
Mm-hmm.
And I encourage you to explore them.
Yeah. Explore away. What's going on, everybody?
How's it going? What have you guys been doing today?
Yeah, how is your quarantine life going? Are you watching stuff? Are you binging? Are you marathoning?
Yeah, what's your jam?
Playing stuff? What are you doing? How are you distracting yourselves?
Yeah.
Outside of this.
Hey, Miss Sweetie. Hey, Megan. Hey, Michelle.
We're here to
distract. What is up, guys? Yeah, we are.
Yeah, I don't know. I personally feel like CBFR says, hey guys, not my thing.
Fair
Listen,
enough.
CBFR, you don't have to hide it.
But maybe learning about it is your thing.
You don't have to
That's
defend
fine.
it. It's okay.
No, you don't. I've seen many a documentary about them.
Yeah. Great timing, Megan. Hey, Bobby.
Beautiful timing. Hello, Bobby. Hi, Luke.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just going to share this, so excuse me for being distracted.
Okay, I was about to ask you a question, but I wanted to distract you.
What?
Have you been trying to aggressively distract yourself or anything?
I've naturally been kind of distracted.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not looking at the news at all.
No, I haven't.
It's the third day I haven't looked at the news at all, and I'm just not gonna do it.
Right. I haven't seen a single stitch of news today. Not a stitch.
Not a stitch. I Googled something that was news-ish, but wasn't coronavirus-y, but I haven't gone to CNN, which I usually would do a million times a day, and I haven't done that.
Yeah. I have nary a stitch to wear.
Yeah. Nor I. Hey, Rachel. Hi, Mom. I know. I love the lights.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
We're live right now on youtube.com/talkbomb. Come join us for a very fun, distracting Guide to the Unknown episode.
Yeah.
We're recording live. Look, there are people in the chat. You could be one of them. Bye-bye.
That's right. Hang out. All right. Let me share.
Cool. Plant care, reading books. Drew says, my town just confirmed our first infected, so we're all a bit on edge. Yeah, ours too.
Yeah.
Our local Facebook group is full of paranoia.
Yeah.
And stuff, which is I gotta tell you,
it's not that much of a change, I feel like, from the norm, but
no, local Facebook groups are amazing.
They're wild.
There was somebody in the Facebook group that was accusing the upper class bourgeoisie of
eating, quote, succulent foods.
Incredible.
I don't remember what it said, but it definitely said bourgeoisie and succulent. And I was like, what is going on?
Enjoying your succulent foods? Who do you think you are? Incredible.
Yes. So, guys, I'm going to be distracted for a second, but...
Yeah, that's fine. Only read from CDC or the World Health Organization, says Megan. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, totally.
There's just a lot of misinformation, scary stuff, whatever. Just take care of yourself, take care of your families. Hope you're all doing well. Beep, 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 beep. Rachel says, drawing cartoons, thinking of other types of art to make. Thinking of this October's Halloween mask to scare kids with that you will make from scratch. I love that.
I like that.
I love the sound of that.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, it is March? It's mid-March, so we've got about 7 months until October. You can get a good solid jump on things.
Yeah, Oh, yeah, I'm curious about this question that CBFR has for Mom.
Yeah, this happened in the chat last time, but I don't think Mom was able to answer.
No.
Yeah, very curious as to what this is. They ask, were you born in Connecticut? How did you end up settling there? Okay, interesting. Just trying to get some background on us.
Yeah.
Trying to get the inside scoop.
Yeah. They're the boss, need the info.
On that Rogers life.
Okay. Share it there. I just tagged you in it. Now I'm just going to share on Facebook and Twitter, and then we will roll.
All right, cool.
Are you asking if our mom was born in Connecticut? Or if we were born in Connecticut? Just out of curiosity. Because it was a question for Mom. Alrighty. And if the question was for us, we were not born in Connecticut. We were born in New York.
No, but we grew up in Connecticut for sure. KB, hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Yo. As always, we would really appreciate it if you would share the video. Especially right now, presumably there are a lot of people who could use a distraction.
Yeah, totally.
And so could we. So we'll have some fun.
Yeah.
I even think that like the show that we're going to do is very sort of like goofy distraction.
Yeah,
based.
it's a very fun show. I kept it light. I came across something that was like kind of heavy in mind, and I said no.
Really?
I mean, I'm going to mention it, but I didn't go into it.
I straight up
said
abandoned
no.
some topics from
I said
mine.
no.
I said this will not pass. I abandoned some things in mine because I was just like, this is confusing and unpleasant.
Right. I was like, it's not the time for this.
I don't need it right now. There will be other times.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, adding this to my story. I learned that I have to, maybe it was a glitch that Instagram had. I had to wait for it to load before I moved on because I would think that I uploaded something and I didn't.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, thank you for sharing, Eric. Very much appreciated.
Thank you.
You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and post this in the group or something.
Sure.
While we're here. Why not? I feel like the Facebook group has been really great lately as well.
Yes.
And you know what? Just for people out there that haven't maybe been like super caught up with what we're doing, like we've had like a couple of fun things that Kristen and I just sort of did impulsively. Kristen hosted a live viewing of the original Candyman movie.
Mm-hmm. It was really fun.
Last week. A bunch of you were there. Even more of you may not even know that we did it, though. So you can go check that out. It still is, up on our
go to
YouTube.
YouTube. There's the before video and the after video. I'm definitely going to do another one. I don't know if you guys saw this. Netflix just put out this cool, there's like a Chrome extension where you can have a chat going like while you're all watching the same Netflix video, like in, at the same time in real time. So I'm definitely going to utilize that somehow. So stay tuned to our social media for news about when and what that'll be. So at GTTU Pod everywhere, if that sounds cool to you. We could all hang out and watch a movie together and be like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll still do some sort of video thing before and after. Because I like the idea of giving some like fun facts about the movie before, then spoilery facts about it afterward. It's fun.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I thought it was a great idea.
Thanks.
I loved it.
I see a lot of people doing that now. Not exactly that, but like movie parties. It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I think I'm good if you are.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, everybody. We're going to start the show.
Okay, here we go. Hello, welcome to Guide to the Unknown. I'm Kristen.
And I'm her little brother, William.
And this week we're going to be talking about cryptids, animal hybrid monsters.
Yes, there is something that has been sweeping not only our town, our state, our country, but the globe.
And our family.
Yes, people cannot stop talking about it.
That's right.
It seems like it has completely devoured the entire consciousness of everybody on this planet.
It's dominating the news cycle.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing comes out, if you're listening real time, today.
Yes, as this episode drops on Apple Podcasts, you will be able to get Animal Crossing as well. If only this episode could actually be sponsored by Nintendo, but instead it is sponsored by our need to distract ourselves.
Yes, absolutely.
From the other things sweeping the country.
I'm going to live in Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
That's where I live now.
Kristen and I immediately started making plans to distract ourselves by getting Animal Crossing. Our mom just got a Switch so that she can get Animal Crossing.
That's right. And we all got online so we can like do the online component and visit each other's villages and stuff like that.
For those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, Animal Crossing is a Nintendo game that is all about kindness and pleasantries. You play as the only human living in a teeny tiny town where the other residents are all like eagles and mice
and owls.
And you can walk around, you can go fishing, you can plant flowers. This is primarily what the game is about.
Yeah, it's very gentle.
With cute other animals. So we're all going to build our own towns, visit each other's towns. But for Guide to the Unknown, we figured, well, hey, there are a lot of human-animal hybrids that pop up through mythology and folklore.
Why not cover them and do a little Animal Crossing tie-in?
Exactly.
And also do a little, at the end of the episode, creating verbally our Animal Crossing, islands? Is that what's going to be in this?
I think so. I think we live on islands.
Islands. Our ideal islands of these monsters. What we would like to inhabit our little village
Yeah,
thing.
we want to create an Animal Crossing where the animals that we're living with are monster animals.
Yeah. So it'll be fun. It's going to be a fun, cute episode.
Yeah, we got a bunch of like weird animal-human hybrid monsters to share with you on this episode. There's going to be a ton.
That's right. And if you're listening on Friday, there's a thread in the Guides to the Unknown Facebook group. It's facebook.com/groups/GTTUpod that invites you to create your own little area of monster hybrids. Tell us the things that you would like to inhabit your Animal Crossing.
Oh, very cool. We can even, if you look in the show notes, we're going to put our friend codes down there.
Yeah.
So that you can friend us if you're also getting Animal Crossing, and we can visit each other's towns and have a very pleasant time together.
Let's live inside there.
So let's talk about some monsters.
Yeah.
Well, actually, first, why don't we talk about us for a quick second? Because if you are not a common listener of Guide to the Unknown, what do you need to know? Kristen and I do this show every Friday on all major podcast apps. There's a YouTube version you can watch. On Wednesdays, you can watch us record it live on YouTube. Every week, we talk about monsters, folklore, pop culture, anything creepy, and we have a good time doing it. You can follow us on social media by following @GTTUpod on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to keep up to date with our projects. You can go to tpublic.com/user/GTTUpod if you decide, hey, I love this and I need to have it on a shirt right now. You can get actual Guide to the Unknown merch. You can drink out of our mug.
And the merch is on sale if you're listening in real time. So from March 18th to March 22nd, all of TeePublic is on sale up to 35%. So a bunch of our stuff is way marked down. So now is the time. That's Sunday, March 22nd. This stuff is on sale, but it's always available.
Oh, very cool. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
You can also back us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/GTTUpod if you become a Netherworld Warrior starting in our $4 tier that you can edit that for. You'll get access to a bunch of bonus material from us, including future stuff as we add more and more.
That's
we
right.
Just did an episode where I exposed Kristen to a bunch of clips of Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, because I have been very resistant to Nightmare on Elm Street. I just find him gross. And Will has told me that the story behind it is really neat. And so he forced me to watch these clips. And through them, I got marginally more accepting. But I will say we recorded it almost about a week ago, and I have made no moves to go any further. But I'm at least a little more open-minded now.
We'll fix that. But for sure, you can go right now and listen and watch us check out these Freddy Krueger clips. We couldn't even play you a clip on this show.
No, it's totally a Patreon thing. It's not allowed in general, but we can kind of like sneak things in over there. So a lot of our shows over there have cool audio or video components that are technically not allowed here, but you can enjoy them over on patreon.com/GTTUpod.
We're rule makers. Yeah. Okay, well, let's get right into it. Let's talk about some weirdo animals and monsters and stuff.
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right, William, I'm going to start us off with werewolves.
Yes.
Okay.
The big guns of the episode.
I was shocked by this.
Okay.
I kind of thought I knew like everything there was to know about werewolves. I just didn't think there was that much to know. I was like, okay, so you I don't know what its origin point is. I still don't really. But you get bitten by a werewolf, and it makes you turn into a werewolf.
Sure.
And when the full moon comes out at night, you get all wolfy. And that's pretty much all there is to it. There's a lot more to it.
Okay.
I was really, really surprised. Do you think you know anything about werewolves beyond that?
Maybe not. I know that they are weak to silver bullets.
Oh, right. That's right. I didn't even cover that, but yes.
I know that. I know, obviously, things that almost aren't even worth mentioning, like they turn into werewolves at the full moon.
Well, I mean, I just said it, so I thought it was worth mentioning.
I'm repeating what I know.
Yeah.
But, like, I think probably outside of that, I might know only like the bare bones of werewolves.
I kind of thought that was all there was to know, but I'm wrong. So just so you guys know, in case you don't already, werewolves are also known as lycanthropes, and the study of them is lycanthropy. So if you ever see that as like a root of a word or a name or something, know that's like a little wink and that it's a werewolf thing.
Sure.
So the idea of them from European folklore in medieval times, and they came around as an idea or a belief around the same time as the belief and fear of witches, as far as like, you know, scary, dangerous witches.
Interesting.
And there were even trials accusing people of being werewolves while there were witch trials.
There were werewolf trials?
Yes. far fewer, but there were werewolf trials.
I wonder how you test. Like for witches, they were like, if you float, you're a witch or whatever.
I happen to know. So I'm going to get to that, how you can find out. But yes. So it was a very small fraction, but the persecution of supposed werewolves started in Switzerland in the 1500s, and it spread through Europe through the 1800s, which seems late to me.
From the 1500s
to the 1800s. Very scattered, not a huge thing, which is why we don't know about it the same way we know about witches, but it was a thing. So there was a famous case of a man whose name was Peter Stump. People aren't sure his name was Peter. Excuse me. They're not sure that his last name was really Stump or not, but apparently, you're not going to laugh, apparently he was missing a hand, so he had his stump. So it's not even a making fun of thing. It's like a weird evolution of names and words. Like, we were talking about this recently. I can't remember why, but it just may have gotten integrated with his identity, and then people, when they passed it down, said that it was his name.
That's a shame.
It's not great.
He must have had a prior name.
We don't know it.
His name is Peter Two Hands.
Yeah.
They had
and
to
that
change
turned
that.
into Peter Stump. Yeah. I'd seen Peter Stumpf. I don't know if that's just kind of a different pronunciation or spelling of it.
Weird.
But anyway, we're not totally sure. But he was accused and eventually killed for being a werewolf, partially because he confessed to committing heinous murders while in that form. And it seems like it was like a confession under duress sort of thing. Right. It's heavy stuff, but interesting. So if you're curious about it, it turns out that they cover his story in episode 3 of the podcast Lore. And they even cover in the TV show Lore in episode 5. So if you're curious about the Peter Stump story, you can head over there. So I wanted to find out how people transform into werewolves, because I seriously thought it was just the full moon, boom, Bob's your uncle, but there's way more than that, and even way more than the idea of being bitten. There are lots of different ways to become a werewolf.
Interesting.
Some of them are pretty simple. I feel like we could probably become a werewolf fairly easily by this criteria.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Is this a guide? Could we
Yes,
follow these
this is
rules?
part of our guide to the unknown.
Okay.
We've made it known. This is how you become a werewolf. So you can put on a belt made of wolf skin, because the belt is thought to symbolize the entire body of the wolf. Maybe because it's in the middle of the body. Could that be a thing?
The entire thing is just
because
of the beltiness of it?
I know, and that's what I'm thinking. That's why I'm wondering if, because a belt is at your midsection, perhaps I'm overthinking this, it's at the equator of the bod.
Right.
So it's covering the northern and southern hemispheres at least a little bit. So maybe that's why it can act as a proxy for an entire wolf body.
Feels to me like somebody was just coming up with excuses to be like, he's a werewolf.
Yeah, it does.
He's wearing a wolf belt.
Yes, it does sound like that.
Yeah.
But so you can do that because it symbolizes enough of being a wolf that seems to do the trick. You can rub on a magical salve. Salve.
Salve.
Salve. How did I say it? Salve?
Salve?
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever.
Salve.
Whatever that is. Rub on magic goo. And it'll turn you into a werewolf.
Exactly. Magical goo.
That's all there is to that? It's just rub magic goo on yourself and bam, you're a werewolf?
They didn't go into further detail. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's whatever the opposite of wolfsbane is.
Yeah.
In the magical plant kingdom. This one I think is cool, but also dicey. You can drink water from the footprint of a wolf. What if you get the wrong footprint?
Yeah.
What if you get it from like a raccoon footprint?
You turn a little
That's much
raccoon
smaller,
man.
but still, a dog or something like this.
Well, even a wolf, which is far larger than a dog, I would
Depends
assume
on the
their
dog.
footprints are still pretty small.
Yeah, it's
What
probably like a thimble of
circumstance-
water.
Yeah, exactly. You're slurping around on all fours.
I think you got to do a dip.
Is the idea with that maybe sort of like somebody who is lost in the woods or has befallen an unfortunate fate,
Right.
and is struggling to survive, could further be cursed?
I like the idea of that.
Yeah.
It didn't elaborate about that exactly, but it's definitely thought to be, what else would it be? But it's thought to be kind of a magical thing because connected to that way of becoming a werewolf is drinking water from a magical stream. It was like you can either drink water from a werewolf's footprint or you can drink water from a magical stream. So obviously there's a magical water component to this one.
Magical stream is far nicer, far kinder,
yeah.
far more plausible.
and easier and probably more pleasant because it's a footprint than it must be in dirt or mud or something.
Right.
I don't think they're doing plaster casts like when you're a kid.
How down on your luck do you have to be slurping water out of a wolf's footprints? It's bizarre.
I'm not going to tell you it's not tough. Maybe you're desperate to become a werewolf because maybe people are seeking these out to become a werewolf. Maybe there are people who track wolves and they're like, all right, see, it's Prince. Now I have to wait for a rain. And then they're like, finally.
Yeah, I bet there are people in werewolf stories who view it as not a curse, but as a gift.
Yes, because it is often regarded as a curse. Like the universe or God has put this on you.
Yeah.
But you're right. I'm sure there are people. I mean, there are people who like identify as vampires. So I was
I'm one of them.
wondering, yes. So I was wondering if there are people, and I should have looked it up. It's annoying to say I was wondering and I didn't do anything about it. But I was wondering if there are people like today now who self-identify as werewolves.
I'm going to say
Probably.
yes.
I would think so.
Without having anything to back it up, I'm going to go with a hard yes.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I feel confident also saying yes.
Yeah.
I wonder if they like honor the old ways ever by like drinking water out of a footprint.
I certainly hope they phrase it like that. I honor the
OLDE.
old ways.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can also, this is something that it'd probably be easy to honor the old ways. These two could go together quite nicely depending on the person. Drinking a special beer. It's, I guess, a specific like wolfy beer and reciting an incantation.
Okay.
Sounds kind of nice. And or sleeping outside on a summer night with the full moon directly on your face. So this seems precarious because you could very well do that by accident.
Yeah, totally.
You know, like at least drinking a beer, reciting an incantation is very deliberate. But what if you're like an outside campy person and you just enjoy basking in the full moon and you've accidentally made yourself a werewolf?
The old world feels as though it is full of perils to avoid.
Absolutely.
Right?
I feel like there are tripwires everywhere that could turn you into all manner of things.
Exactly.
Very
You
risky.
gotta be very careful.
Yes, you really do. So I was thinking, this is editorializing, but I was thinking that maybe that's why there were some parallels drawn between witches and werewolves back in the day, because you could become a werewolf of your own doing the same way that maybe you can be, they see it as you can become a witch of your own doing and then you have these magical powers. Maybe they're like, oh, they can also become a werewolf. Who knows how we're going to deal with that? That's a big deal. And so they kind of were in line with each other.
Do you know if, like, because I'm still thinking of the idea of like a werewolf as being you transform into the beast form at the full moon.
Right.
Do you know if that was the understanding around this time? Like, were these people supposedly falling asleep and having the moonlight hit their face, and then they become this ravenous monster that's outside their own control every month?
I don't know. What I was reading was talking about a bunch of different belief systems and geographically in werewolves, so it varies from place to place.
Right.
So I don't know that it would make sense that in that scenario, that if you're sleeping with the full moon on your face, that you turn to a wolf right then. I'm not sure. I was also interested to see that you don't always turn into a werewolf in the idea of werewolves. Like, that's one kind of part of it, but some people physically remain unchanged while a part of themselves becomes separate from them, basically like becoming their familiar.
Oh.
It's like a piece of their soul becomes the wolf.
Oh, that's very weird.
Very weird. So there's still a connection, though, in that case, when it's like the werewolf is separate from the person. If that werewolf gets injured, then the person whose werewolf that is gets a corresponding injury.
Ooh.
So the werewolf could be like out at night scavenging, doing bad werewolf things, and it could get a cut on its leg, and that person will find that they have a cut on their leg or something. They're linked.
I like the idea.
They have a
of
reciprocity.
That also reminds me that I think that, granted, I'm not terribly boned up on werewolves myself. I'm sure I have seen the Universal Monster Wolfman.
I know. I don't
stuff.
really remember it.
Yeah, but I definitely associate werewolves with, like, we've got to get the wolf. But I was only able to stab it with this fork in the side.
Yeah.
And then there's a man
like
the next
limping
morning.
later. But that's
It's a
like
sign of evidence that he was the wolf.
Right, but that's because he was the wolf in that instance. In this, these are two separate physical beings, but they'll still get the same injury.
Oh, it's crazier, but
Yeah.
I still love that.
Oh, I do
sort of,
too.
like, we harmed the monster, and now the man is showing signs that will lead us to realize, like,
right.
it's David!
Yes.
Get him!
David's like a walking telltale heart, kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let me see. Oh, so it could also be the soul leaving the body to roam in werewolf form, leaving the person in a trance state while it does its thing. So whereas I think I used the word soul before, but let's just say that is for some reason just some other piece of you, and you can be going about your business,
Right.
and this other thing that has now become part of you is roaming and doing its thing. In this other scenario, it's that it's such an integral part of you that's leaving your body at that time that you're not here. The lights are kind of out and you're sort of like entranced and your computer is shut down while that part of you is roaming free.
That's cool too, because that means that if people caught on
Right.
that the wolf is out there running around while your body is snoozing in the cabin, they might realize, well, hey, if we want to kill this wolf, which keeps attacking to us, we could really just kill the snoozing guy.
I don't know that the reciprocity works that way.
It should for
It
like
should.
a fun story. Though.
It definitely should for a fun story, but I just found stuff about injuring the wolf, injuring the person. It doesn't mean that it doesn't work both ways, but I could see it not.
See, it makes me think of Independence Day or any number of stories where, like, you take out the mothership,
Right.
you take out the lead vampire, and
Right,
everyone
they're
else
all
turns
linked.
into a human. Take
Yeah.
out the snoozing body, and that crazy wolf that's running around will stop terrorizing us.
Right, but what if the snoozing body's your friend?
Hey, listen.
You got to figure out another way. Oh, there's no other way. I guess if they're linked, there's no other way.
Yeah, there's no other way.
You got to try to reintegrate them.
Oh, bring the wolf to the snoozing person.
Yeah, you got to try to reintegrate them somehow and
Yeah.
then neutralize that part of the person.
Yeah.
So if you were to get all like psychological about it, like maybe there's like some sort of anger that almost forms a tulpa
Sure.
outside that person in
Right.
werewolf form. And maybe if you can reconcile that anger within the person, it can just merge back in and make them whole and make
Maybe.
the wolf go away.
Maybe. Hey, great line for a werewolf movie.
Mm-hmm.
You bring out the beast in me.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Isn't that great? Totally original. I bet that shows up in most werewolf things.
I would imagine so. Hey, you know what I didn't think about? Beast of Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Is he a wolf? No, he's not a wolf. He's like a...
No,
don't
he's
know what
like
he
a.
is.
He's like a. He's got horns.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he's
yeah.
got-
bullish figure,
You know what
maybe.
he looks like?
What?
A bison.
Yeah, he does look like a bison. Yeah, he's basically a bison.
Yeah, is he like a buffalo? Is a buffalo a bison?
I don't know.
Is it a bison?
What do you mean? Is it or is it
Is
bison?
that how you would? Yeah.
I would say a bison.
Moving on.
I don't really know. I feel like this is like reminiscent of Jessica Simpson's like Chicken of the Sea.
Yeah, I don't think that there's any we don't
Reason
need
for us to
let's not dwell
pursue
here.
this.
Yeah, let's continue.
I agree. I will say when I went to Disney a few weeks ago and Ryan and I went to Be Our Guest, which is like the Beauty and the Beast themed restaurant that they had, we went into the like scary area of it. I don't think I told you this.
No.
There's a ballroom area that is light, and then you go a little bit further and there's like the scary beast area where he was mad.
Oh.
So there's like tattered stuff hanging all over the place. And I don't know if you remember in the movie when the beast like goes ham about something, there's a portrait of himself as a human that he slashed with his claw. And so they have that over a fake fireplace. And every once in a while there's lightning and stuff. And the portrait switches to a picture of the beast and then back real quick.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like the lightning happened and I saw people sitting around us looking around and I was like, what must be happening? I'm not sure. And so I like really eagle-eyed it and it's really fast, which is very cool, I
That's
feel
very
like.
cool.
They don't give you a hand.
Sure,
You really
that's
have to
the
catch it,
fun-
which makes it better.
It's even better that you could miss out
Yeah.
on a teeny attention to detail.
I
thing.
didn't know at least twice and then I caught it and I was like, oh, that's sweet.
I do remember as a wee lad wearing my knee pants.
Yes.
That that part of Beauty and the Beast did scare me.
Oh, me
the
too.
Scary part of the mansion where he's been like full of rage
Yeah.
for decades
Yeah.
is interesting.
Yes, me too. That part was scary. So let me see. Where was I? Okay.
My favorite line from Beauty and the Beast, sorry, is
No.
probably "I've been full of rage for decades.
Like Zach Bagans.
I'm full of rage.
They have a lot in common.
Let me take stock of my emotions."
Yeah, they name their emotions. They make them separate from them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, and that beast is making himself. I'm full of rage is making himself. Zach always says, I feel rage.
feel rage.
Keeping it separate. The
Yeah.
beast could take a note.
You're right. The Beast could learn a thing or two. Beauty and the Beast would be far less satisfying if he was like, "I've come to terms with my condition.
Exactly, but maybe he needs that more
I'm
than
fine
he
with
needed.
it."
It's cool. Maybe if he did, then he wouldn't need True Love's kiss or whatever.
Right.
Because all you need is yourself.
You know, Beauty and the Beast has the same problem as a lot of movies do. This is neither here nor there, just sprang to mind. Where the entire point of the movie is we've got to transform this beast back into a human.
I know.
But then as soon
and
as
it's
you
reliant on something else.
Yeah.
They don't have any real agency
Well,
over
there's
it.
that, but also like I don't care about the
I
human
know.
version of him.
Yeah,
the only
totally.
interesting thing in the movie is the beast.
Yeah.
So as soon as like you turn Chip into a little boy and Mrs. Potts is just Angela Lansbury.
Well, that's why we get the
do I
hell out
care?
of there toot sweet, because now it's boring. Now these are just normal people in a mansion.
Didn't they make sequels to the? How did they justify him being a? Did they just
Yeah,
say
they
it took place
did.
at the same time? Probably.
Maybe. They must have. I don't know. One of the last
All
things.
you want is the beast. It's like the Hunger Games.
Yes.
Where they're like, we've got to get rid of these Hunger Games.
Yeah, it's like,
But-
well, what else are we going to do? I don't want to just hang out in District 4.
That's what I want. What am I supposed to do? Go to Pan's house or whatever that bread boy is named?
PETA.
PETA?
Which is funny because he makes bread. Is that his name?
I'd say
PETA?
it's the opposite of funny.
Is it PETA?
Yeah.
Yeah. Peepa?
Peepa. Pee-pee.
The last thing I want to
I'm
say
in love
about
with pee-pee.
about Be Our Guest is that the people who were the servers, I heard it happen twice, and like it wasn't as extreme as just being like, "Bah," but like it has to get old, so you're gonna lose some of your vim and vigor. They'd be like, "Okay, enjoy. Put our service to the test." That's really funny.
That's great. Put our service to the test.
Yeah, like it wasn't that downtrodden. That'd be funnier, but it was just like I'd say this a million times a day, so I'm just getting through. It's like, okay, put our service to the test.
Welcome.
Not as peppy as you would think.
Come on in. Hope you have fun.
Yeah, try the gray stuff. It's delicious.
It's delicious.
Okay, so werewolf lore says that there are telltale signs someone is a werewolf even when they're in human form. You can tell it. And I feel like I remember this from some things. It's like ringing a bell to me. I'm not even sure what. That they'll have a unibrow, curved nails, low set ears, and a quote, swinging stride.
What is that?
I don't know. Like,
They're a swinger.
I guess. Yeah, with all that wolfish energy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess they have like an animal kind of way of moving or something. But I feel like it's been a thing that, like, I don't know, they'll have somebody who has kind of wolfish features play a werewolf. And you're like,
Right.
oh, that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Jack Nicholson was a wolf.
Yes. I've never seen that movie.
Neither
Have
have I.
you?
Nope.
That seems scary to me.
I bet it is.
Yeah. I feel
bet
like
it
I
also-
always kept that at arm's length because it like looked too much.
Yes. I'm also going to go out on a limb and say it sucks.
Yeah, I don't
my
think that's supposed to be
guess.
a good movie. Yeah. So here is a way that you can test and see if somebody's a werewolf when they're in human form. This is gross to me. It said that if you cut a piece of flesh from someone accused of being a werewolf, it'll have hair on it, like on the
Ew.
inside.
That's crazy.
I know, gross. A
like
big
the wolf
tell.
is just under the surface of your skin.
Yeah, kind of.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. So it's hard to tell. So as far as like, humans have these wolfy features that might make you be like, that might be a werewolf, but it doesn't work as easily the other way in a lot of folklore around this, where you can be like, oh, that wolf is a werewolf. They kind of just look like wolves. Except in Swedish tales of werewolves, they say that wolves that are werewolves actually run on 3 legs instead of 4 legs. So I guess you have to watch very carefully, but they're always keeping the 4th leg extended backward as they
stance.
Yeah, 3-point stance as they run.
Interesting.
Very weird. As we said before, it's sometimes considered a punishment doled out from the universe for something that you've done, becoming a werewolf. God might curse you to become one. This begs the question, can you unbecome one? So the Greeks and Romans thought that physical exhaustion could cure it, which seems like it would suck. So they just
my
make people like
God.
work out like super hard to make them not be a werewolf.
Just play Let's Get Physical and really wear them out.
Talk about uncomfortable 80s stuff like Jack Nicholson
Yeah.
movie where you're like, uh-oh.
Oh, no.
But I used to watch our Laserdisc of the Olivia Newton-John Let's Get Physical album that had all of the videos on it.
So much. We watched
She
that
was like-
so much.
Okay, look, I don't want to take credit from her, but everybody freaked out when Beyonce dropped self-titled Beyonce and it had all music videos for every single song. Olivia Newton-John did that in the 80s.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think that Laserdisc just had videos for every song on her album.
Listen, we watched that Let's Get Physical music video so frequently.
I know.
You really gotta, thank the stars that the internet came along. That's what we were up to. That's all we had.
Watching Let's Get Physical. It wasn't just the video for the song Let's Get Physical. It was a video for each song on the album.
Oh, boy.
I think.
I only remember
right?
watching Let's Get Physical.
I remember that, but I feel like there was
Did she transform big fat guys
Yes.
into like svelte bodybuilder boys?
oily ones.
I wonder if that had an effect on my psyche.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's
Olivia
not
Newton-John
great.
will never like me in my current
Yeah, she's
form.
judging me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not great. I also watched Heavyweights recently, and I feel like it's not great.
Yeah.
But it is great.
It is great.
It's hilarious.
Yes.
So Greeks and Romans thought that physical exhaustion could cure like werewolfism, lycanthropy. And in medieval Europe, they tried to do it medicinally with plants using wolf's bane, as well as exorcism. They gave that a go.
Cool.
German werewolves were pretty low key. It's pretty easy to change back from a werewolf. You just need to address it 3 times by its Christian name.
Oh.
So if you were a werewolf in Germany, I'd just have to be like, looking at a wolf, be like, William, William, William. And then it turns back, you're not a werewolf anymore, apparently.
Dita.
Oh,
Dita. You know what they call werewolves in Germany? Werewolves.
Werewolves. Yep. I felt it coming. And Danish people said you just had to give the werewolf a stern talking to. They said you have to, quote, scold it.
That is what you have to do with
Stop
dogs.
that.
Hey,
That's true.
No.
That's
Get
true.
down. Stop it.
Stop it. And then they stopped being a werewolf.
Okay.
So I thought I would leave us with just, as far as werewolves, with just some excerpts from some famous werewolf songs. Here's a few lines from Werewolf Bar Mitzvah from 30 Rock,
Yeah.
performed by Tracy Jordan in the show Morgan in Real Life. So just part of it. I'm not going to try to do it in the thing. I was working late night on my Haftorah when I heard a knock on my bedroom door. I opened it up, and to my surprise, there was a werewolf standing there with glowing gold eyes. He says, "Tomorrow, my son, you will be a man. But tonight's the time to join the Wolfen clan. Tomorrow you will stand at the bima and pray, but tonight let's gaze at the moon and bay."
Wow.
Werewolf Bar Mitzvah, spooky, scary, boys becoming men, men becoming wolves.
Listen, it's genius.
It's so
It's genius
incredibly funny.
to have a character on that show try to have made their own thriller, but it's about werewolves and the line "boys becoming men, men
becoming wolves." It
It's
is
incredible.
Truly genius and so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last thing is that song "Werewolves of London." You know, like
Sure.
woo.
I love
Okay.
Werewolves of London.
It's a sweet song.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's just a little part of it. You hear him howling around your kitchen door. You better not let him in. Little old lady got mutilated last night. Werewolves of London again. He is the hairy-haired gent who ran amok in Kent. Lately, he's been overheard in Mayfair. You better stay away from him. He'll rip your lungs out, Jim. I'd like to meet his tailor.
Wow. What?
I guess because he's like
What?
dressed like a slick man or something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, very
what that
weird.
means. The song is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the Goat Man from Creepypastas.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
There's a story called Anansi's Goat Man, and we don't know who wrote it.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, it's anonymous.
Ooh, I love that. Is it Anansi?
Maybe it's Anansi.
But it was
No,
that,
I don't. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I tried Googling it, and people just made jokes about who wrote it. Nobody really knows.
Yeah, I only knew that this is a story.
Yeah, Will gave me this lead.
Yeah, because I was looking for things that are like half man, half animal things. So beyond like werewolves,
Yeah.
what's another half man thing? And I remembered this creepypasta that went around and people loved,
Right.
but I don't know that I ever read it or anything.
So I kind of summarized it. It's pretty long. It's not like insanely long or anything, but I'm just going to tell you cool stuff in it. It'll still follow the narrative, but
Okay.
I'm going to kind of smush it. So it's a story about friends camping in a trailer in the woods, and they're joined by strangers at one point who are friendly. And it's like a large group of people, and they were told to stick together because there's a large animal in the woods. It's a large group of people, like I said, and not everybody knows each other in the group. It's like a group of family and then a group of kind of new friends. So and this is presented like it's a real thing, like this person is telling you something
This
that
is what
happened to them.
happened.
Right.
Right.
So one night, some of them are, and I get the feeling that it's a large trailer. It's not just like a little RV. It's like this big thing. They said that it's on a relative's property who likes to hunt, and they have multiple trailers. So it sounds to me like this is pretty expansive.
Yeah.
So one night, some of the people are in and some of them are out. The author is inside, and he says that there's a small, I assume it's a he. I think maybe he says it's he. I'm going to keep saying he. He says that there's a strong smell of ozone, something coppery, and they start hearing people running outside, booking it. So the group that was outside runs into the trailer and tells them that they saw something creepy out in the forest that started making, quote, gibbering sounds that seemed like they were all around them. They said they also experienced the same kind of coppery smell, so they hauled ass back to this trailer. So the author's cousin says that a native kid at his school told him about the goat man in these woods, and they all tell him to shut up because they're freaked out. They're like, just don't talk
about the goat man.
Right. I don't even want to hear it. It's like probably something normal. You're just making us scared.
Yeah.
And they think maybe it's somebody messing with them. So the author says, seemingly years later, that he roomed with a Native American person in college, and that the author asked him about the goat man, having had this experience when they were younger, and that they told him that the goat man is a shapeshifter with the head of a goat who likes to get among groups of people and mess with them, and that it's kind of something like a Wendigo, and that it's kind of a bad idea to even talk about him. So now we go back to present day.
Okay.
The smell goes away suddenly, like turning off a light switch. They say it's not like it faded, but that smell was strong, and then it's just not there. And then it keeps coming and going throughout the following day. So all of them were staying inside the camper. They're all freaked out, and they decided to make brats, hot dogs, for lunch. So 12 come in a pack, and he counts that there are 12 people in the cabin, and then they realize there should only be 11 of us. Who's the 12th person? There were only 11 of us this whole time.
Wait a minute. This story comes to a crescendo because of the count of hot dogs.
It's not even a crescendo yet, but the count is very important, and the hot dogs play a large role.
This is
the first
like
time.
on Lost when they were.
And I like a hot dog on a large roll.
Of course, who doesn't?
Mm-hmm.
This is like on Lost when they were going through the manifest and they realized that there was somebody.
Oh yeah,
in their survivor party who was not on the manifest of the plane.
It's exactly that.
Wait a minute! I've prepared the proper amount of hot dogs for the amount of people here, but I shouldn't have been able to.
Yeah. How did this work?
I had already decided I'd have the extra one.
To tell you the truth, there's a complicated thing. It's not quite as simple as I was saying, where like the dude's cousin is like, oh, why are you taking 2 hot dogs? We only have enough for 11 people. And the head count is off. It's like a little long and I was a little confused. But the gist is
hot dog math.
Hot dog math. They look around. They're like, why did I count 12? There should only be 11 people. Yeah. Then he counts again and he's like, there are 11 people here. Who was here? Like, This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Sorry. I didn't mean to get us off track. I was always bad at hot dog math in high school.
Look,
so,
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. So one of the girls says that whoever the 12th person was, somebody had grabbed her leg at one point and leaned in and said something weird that she couldn't understand. I guess they figure out who's who, and she's like, okay, the person who did this isn't here anymore.
Oh.
So everybody continues to be freaked out. Now they only go outside in groups. Their numbers repeatedly change over the days. They're noticing people are here and they're not really registering it properly. We just go with it. The girl who says she was touched by the thing at one point does this weird convulsing motion that our author only sees from behind, but it looks like she's either faced away from him and heaving or like cracking up where you're like shaking. And he's looking at her outside by themselves and everything is silent, but she's like really moving, like some noise should be coming out, which is very weird. This is very cool. At one point, one of the campers' friends arrives, like not a stranger, but like somebody new comes into camp. And he tells them about a strange girl he saw in the woods who he assumed must have been one of their friends who was also making her way to the trailer. And he figured that they'd walk together, but she kept lagging behind him. She would never walk with him or next to him. And no matter what he did to change his pace, she just kept being behind him. And he described the same kind of weird coppery smell. And he said at one point he asked if she was okay because he was like, is she injured or something? Like, why is she just like walking behind so slow? And she said something that he didn't understand. So he turned around and she was right there all of a sudden. She's been behind. He's trying to get her to catch up. And all of a sudden she's right there where he had to back up. He also, because he thought she was moving slow, offered to carry her. And when he reached out to kind of be like, hey, can I help you? Like maybe touch her shoulder or something. She was off to the side of where he reached. Like he misjudged the distance of grabbing her or touching her.
That's weird.
But he was looking right at her. So it was like she was moving out of his grasp, like imperceptibly. Didn't make any sense. And then she eventually disappeared after being behind him, and he thought she must have taken another route to them. And it was super weird. But now he's here and he knows everything's really weird.
Sure.
So then one night they hear this half knocking, half clawing at the door of the trailer at about 11 o'clock. And he posts a link. He's like, it sounded like this, but not funny. A link to that video of like cats on YouTube talking, being like, "Wow, rah, rah," or whatever. You know what I mean?
Cats talking is hilarious, but
Yes.
if you were scared and you heard
Unsettling.
somebody just going like,
Yeah.
Thank you. I couldn't remember it.
I am Big
Blah,
Willie,
blah,
the
blah.
real wet Willie.
Yeah.
look
So-
up Big Billy the cat. I love the way he talks.
So if you heard half knocking and half clawing with that, very scary. They ignore it because they're scared. And then around 2 o'clock in the morning, so about 3 hours later, they say that it sounds like a combination of women screaming and cats like screaming, yelling, whatever, is all around them. Somebody goes outside and shoots into the air because shotguns are also involved in this. It doesn't stop, but eventually it dies down finally. Before they leave, they realize that a window in the bathroom has been left unlocked this entire time. And so they think that that's probably how this thing, the goat man, got in and out and was able to just kind of mess with their heads, mess with their numbers, and throw them off guard. So it never actually like injures or hurts anybody, but just makes them scared and unsettled the whole time.
That's fascinating. So it just sows discord in
Yeah,
a way.
that's its whole thing.
Even in the movie The Thing, which is a fantastic movie,
Yeah.
the point seems to be to for the thing to steal your form and survive and maybe make its way through you. I don't even know if the thing really wants to kill everybody,
Right.
but like people certainly die.
I'm about to
off
say
one by one in that movie,
it does.
but
Yeah.
primarily because people are hunting it
Right.
a lot of the time, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah. Wait, what happens that makes it turn into that spider thing?
When it
Doesn't
turns into
it-
the spider thing, it's because they are trying to resuscitate
Uh-huh.
a guy who they think is dead, but is really the thing.
Right.
And so they would have found out that he was.
Yeah.
And maybe the
But
thing
so
even
he-
thought that the paddles, the defibrillator
Okay.
paddles, maybe even thought that was an attack. Who knows?
Okay.
But like, I love the idea of the goat man just being like, yeah, I don't even particularly want anything.
No, I just like messing. Maybe he gets some sort of power from that.
It's far more
like low level
mysterious and-
anxiety rather than screams feed
Yeah.
him. There's like something about that frequency that like feeds him.
It's really freaky deaky.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
Cool, right?
Okay. Well, hey, all right, my turn.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked up a few things and then I remembered a bunch of stuff truly like a half hour before we started recording.
Yeah.
So if we have time, I'll talk about some additional stupid animal.
I don't think we're
findings.
going to have time, so maybe that could be like a little extra or something.
Maybe they're crazy. Can
Yeah.
I just tell you that it's Animorphs? I remember that Animorphs exist.
Let's do like a bonus video or something like that.
I'll tell you what. There's nothing to say about Animorphs.
Okay. Just that they exist.
It's that Animorph exists.
I actually did come across Animorphs.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
I forgot they existed. And then
I did
like
too.
a half hour before we were about to go, I was like, oh crap, Animorphs.
I saw a picture of like a girl turning into a rat or something.
Oh, I love how stupid those books look.
I know.
I looked it up. All I have is that it's about human kids who gain the ability to animorph
Yeah.
to fight aliens that are big slugs called the Yeerks.
Okay.
That's what that's about. I had no idea.
I've never read an Animorph book.
They can transform into any animal they touch, but they have to change back into a human within 2 hours or they'll be stuck as that animal
Oh,
forever.
boy. The clock's ticking.
Clock is ticking. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Kind of interesting, but whatever. All right, here's a cool thing. Oh, man, I was pumped having looked into this because
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was going to get. What do you know about the Sphinx?
Like almost nothing.
Right?
Yeah.
I knew nothing about
A
the
Riddler.
Sphinx. Exactly.
Yeah.
Loves a good riddle.
Loves a riddle.
I knew the Sphinx as the Great Sphinx of Giza.
Right.
Literally the woman's head on the lion's body that
Right.
you can visit. The nose was knocked off by Napoleon.
It's a Batman villain. Right? Isn't
Well,
there?
there's King Tut. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool too, Kristen.
It's
Don't get me
cool.
wrong. But so here's what a Sphinx is. It's got the head of a woman, the haunches of a lion, and the
Haunches.
Haunches. And the
I wasn't even
wings-
making fun of your pronunciation. It's just a funny word.
Look at his haunches.
Haunches. I actually took a picture of Crumbs' haunches today because they were all wrinkly. I meant to
Love.
send it to you.
Molly and Crumb's
Forgot.
haunches are adorable.
Yeah.
And it has the wings of a bird. Sometimes its tail is a snake.
Ugh.
So it's shown up in a ton of pop
snake.
culture and folklore throughout decades. There is a sort of Sphinx in every culture around the globe.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a woman's head on a leopard's body and stuff.
Right.
But I'm going to talk about primarily the Sphinx that you picture when I say Sphinx.
Cool.
So she's even a symbol of the Freemasons.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
But almost in a sort of totemic kind of way. The Freemasons use the Sphinx image just to sort of amplify the feeling of mystery. It doesn't even really mean anything.
Right.
It's just a fun, mysterious thing.
Yeah.
As a sort of character, she is considered to be treacherous and merciless. If you cannot solve the riddle she gives you, you'll befall a horrible fate, being killed or possibly devoured.
Oh, no.
I infrequently come across the word devoured.
Yeah. That's a fun one.
I was happy to see it.
Yeah.
The word sphinx comes from a Greek word meaning to squeeze or to tighten up.
Is like they're squeezing information from you? Do you think that's the association with why it's called the Sphinx?
That's interesting. I had not considered
Because
that.
why else?
Well, here's why.
Okay.
Because the haunches of a lion, the way a lioness would kill her prey is by biting the throat and holding until they die. It's strangulation.
Yeah.
Squeeze.
Oh, okay. I see.
The big squeeze.
Yeah.
There was a historian named Susan Wise Bauer, though, who thinks that the word Sphinx came from an Egyptian term for a living image, meaning that the Sphinx is a sort of statue of a person. All right. Here's a weird thing about the Sphinx, the Great Sphinx of Giza in Egypt. No one knows for sure when it was built. There are differing opinions of when this whole thing was put together.
Ancient Egypt is fascinating.
It's very fascinating. Some people argue that the way the stone is worn out means that it's from this era. There's some who say, no.
It's from this one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are even a bunch of people who sort of agree that the Sphinx is meant to look like the great pharaoh Khafra. But then there are some people who go, actually, it predates Khafra.
Huh.
So basically, no one knows. Put a big stamp of a question mark on the Sphinx. So the Sphinx in folklore shows up primarily in Greek and Egyptian mythology, generally considered to be super powerful, a deadly sort of guardian who frequently is found near temples. And there are two commonly cited riddles that the Sphinx would give to travelers. Here's the first one, the one that I think most of us associate with the Sphinx. Which creature has one voice and yet becomes 4-footed and 2-footed and 3-footed?
I don't know.
It's a version of the same riddle, which is what walks on 4 limbs in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and 3 at night. You haven't heard this?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm actually surprised.
Yeah.
What do you think it is? What walks on 4 feet, 2 feet, and then 3 feet?
I don't know.
Well, Oedipus answered, man, who crawls on all fours as a baby.
Oh, okay. So morning, afternoon, night is symbolic of... that's right. I have heard this.
That's very classic.
Yeah.
Then
That's
walks
right.
on 2 feet as an adult, and then uses a walking stick in
cane.
old age.
That's right.
Doesn't count as a foot. Nice try, Eddie.
Sorry, Oedipus.
Here's the other riddle. I had never heard this one before. There are 2 sisters. One gives birth to the other, and she, in return, gives birth to the first. Who are the 2 sisters?
I don't know.
You get eaten by the Sphinx.
Okay, is it like life and death, or is it like something, you know what I mean? Like something more heady?
Yes.
Is it? What is
All
it?
right. Maybe the Sphinx burps you up a little bit. Day and night.
Okay.
A sort of endless cycle.
Yes, a conceptual thing.
Yeah. In some depictions, if you answer the Sphinx's riddle correctly, she will throw herself off her perch to her death.
Oh my God.
Or she will eat herself. Either or.
Yeah. Off her perch. I mean, isn't she just like on the earth usually?
One
I guess
or
I'm
the
picturing
other.
like a giant sphinx that you like go into.
Right, sort of
so you just like fall
lying
over
down.
them.
Well, in some depictions, she's up on like a really high cliff or a pedestal. Or
Yeah, okay.
whatever. So this brings us to very important information. In Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Harry encounters a sphinx in a maze at the end of the Triwizard Tournament.
That's right.
It asks him a riddle, saying to Harry that, upon me asking you the riddle, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, stay silent and I will allow you to walk away unscathed. If you answer me correctly, I will move aside. Okay. If you answer me and you're incorrect, I'm going to attack you.
Yeah.
Which I think is really...
Yes.
I had forgotten this.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting for it to be like, I will respectfully allow you to back away from me.
Right. If you're willing to admit that you don't know.
If you try and fail, I'm going to attack you.
Yeah.
Which called to mind another really important thing. Will Ferrell's impression of Harry Carey, who would frequently say, like, if you were made of spare ribs, would you eat yourself? And if you say, yes, he'd go, correct answer. If you just said no, I would have come at you hard.
Oh my God. A sphinx of sorts.
A real Sphinx of sorts, correct. So here's the riddle that the Sphinx asked Harry Potter, not Harry Carey.
Yeah.
For Harry Carey and the moon made of cheese.
Yeah.
First, think of the person who lives in disguise, who deals in secrets and tells naught but lies. Next, tell me what's always the last thing to mend, the middle of middle and the end of end. And finally, give me the sound often heard during the search for a hard-to-find word. Now string them together and answer me this. Which creature would you be unwilling to kiss?
Oh.
Do you know the answer?
No. What is it?
Spider.
Oh, Okay.
Spy, duh, is the end of end.
Okay.
The middle of middle. And
She's clever. Did he get it?
yeah.
I guess he did,
I
right?
think so.
Yeah, he must have. He must have, because he proceeded.
Yeah, I think
Oh, I wish he
so
hadn't.
stupid. It's not the best, right?
It's not good. I don't like it.
Anyway, she moves aside and he fights an acromantula next, so it's sort
Appropriate.
It was a spider. It was kind of a hint of what he'd have to do next. Additional Harry Potter Sphinx fact.
Yes.
I found a Harry Potter wiki where when they talk about the Sphinx, they point out in the extended material, in the sort of like,
Oh.
Whatever,
Yeah.
that there
On
was
Joe's site.
there was a wizard named Crispin Kronk who was thrown in Azkaban because he insisted on keeping sphinxes in his backyard.
Oh my God.
Crispin Kronk.
He flew too close to the sun, too close to the Sphinx.
Imagine combing through the extended lore of Harry Potter and being rewarded with Crispin Kronk.
Crispin Gronk.
He's in the video games. You get his picture on a pack of chocolate frogs.
Really?
Crispin Kronk.
Well,
Yeah. Went to jail. Anyway. Okay. Now, let's stay on Harry Potter for a minute because I looked up the
By all means.
Animagi.
that's a good
wizards,
idea.
The wizards who are able to turn into animals.
Yeah.
The way that Harry's father and the other marauders
That's right.
were able to do.
That's a good idea.
Wormtail. Mooney.
Mooney, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prawn.
Correct.
Prongs.
Yeah.
What is it?
Prongs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I looked up how you become an animagus because they mention in Harry Potter that it's heavily regulated.
Yeah.
Every wizard who's an animagus and can transform into an animal has to be on a list. It's very hard to learn how to do it. It's incredible that James Potter and Sirius Black and Remus Lupin, well, he was a werewolf, and Peter Pettigrew were able to figure out how to do it alone as kids. Here's how you do it according to the extended lore. Part of the process by which one becomes an animagus is by holding the leaf of a mandrake in their mouth for an entire month. You use the leaf for the reciting of a potion reciting of an incantation during the sort of like potion that you're making in your mouth, I guess.
Huh, so that's kind of like the werewolves drinking a beer and reciting an incantation.
You're absolutely right.
It's like imbibing combined with spell work.
I actually kind of like that now. I had looked at this as being kind of like a silly answer to a question that no one was asking.
Maybe it's one of those weird things where it actually lines up.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like she did like research. Yeah.
Yeah. So once the initial training is over, an animagus can then change at will with or without the use of a wand. Animagi who take on the form, this is what they said on the wiki, which seemed unnecessary to me.
Okay.
Animagi who take on the form of a species capable of flight can enjoy the sensation without the need of broomsticks, flying carpet, or riding on flying animals.
I mean, yeah, I'd assume.
Right? Isn't that...
Yeah, of course they're going to enjoy the sensation. Yeah.
Old J.K. Rowling herself, our old pal, stated that she would fancy an otter, her favorite animal, as her animagus form. Though if she actually transformed, she suspects she might be a guinea pig or something, which would be quite embarrassing.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Well, I think Hermione's Patronus is an otter. So I guess she kind of,
Yes, there's a lot in the Harry Potter community about whether or not your Patronus, which appears to be some sort of an animal representation of who you are as a person,
Right.
is the same as what your animagus form would be.
Ah, that is worth questioning.
Yes, somehow they are. You don't choose what animal you get to be, by the way. You turn into whatever
you're meant
most
to be.
like.
Yeah.
So Peter Pettigrew being a little rat
Yeah.
was
He's a little snitch.
quite apropos.
Yeah, I'll say. I was actually looking into. I might reread the Harry Potter books. It's been a long time. It feels like a comforting read right now.
Yes.
And they're on Kindle Unlimited, just so you know. I don't have that, but I might sign up for a trial.
Is that right? I didn't realize that. That's great.
Yeah.
So I looked up a few. This is now just sort of like a quick little section because
Please.
we're getting to the end here.
Yeah.
But I thought that they were fun nonetheless.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about animals and since we're about to build our Animal Crossing villages, sometimes using monsters that we've been discussing on this episode, here are just a few more to add to the pile.
The pot, yeah.
Sort of bits and bobs, if you will.
Perfect.
So, in the world of comic books and comic book movies, there are a ton of superheroes and supervillains who take their name and characteristics from the animal kingdom. One of the biggies, obviously, is Spider-Man, who was bitten by a radioactive spider and got the ability to climb walls and shoot webs and stuff like that.
Right.
But I really want him to be more of a monster. I would love it if he had, gotten hairy arms and 8 eyes and stuff like that. What would Peter Parker be like? Thankfully, the comic books sort of have an answer because there are horror depictions of Spider-Man.
It makes total sense. I love Spider-Man either way, but I'm
totally.
excited to hear this.
Yes. So evidently in 1992, from the Infinity War comic, Infinity War the movie is based on an arc in the comic books called the
Yes.
Infinity War. I did not know about this character, though.
Yeah.
There were evil doppelgangers of the superheroes created that they would have to battle. By the way, sounds like a terrific thing to do with the future of the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, that sounds totally sweet.
What a great way to bring back Tony Stark without bringing back Tony Stark and giving our heroes who we love
That's insane.
a villain to fight that sort of hurts them in their emotional core.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That sounds awesome.
Yes.
What a good loophole.
I know.
And there's source material for the loophole,
Yes.
so it doesn't even feel cheap.
1,000%.
That's awesome.
Very, very fun.
Yes.
Very scary. So there was a clone created of Peter Parker, which was created to be a mindless, heavily spiderized version of him.
So it's not like the sexy bad boy Peter Parker from Spider-Man 3?
His dark
I think it's
doppelganger
3,
who
right?
loves
Yeah.
jazz.
Yeah. And eyeliner.
Now dig on this.
That is
He says
so
in that movie.
good.
Amazing. No, this doppelganger has 6 arms, giving it 8 limbs total, of course.
Wait, that's 8 arms, 8 hot dogs.
8 arms.
Hot dogs are coming up a lot in this thing.
You're right. When I was a teenager,
Famously.
this was incredible.
It's
When I
incredible.
was a teenager, I came home and I brought some friends over, and I think we were going to watch Spider-Man in the basement or something, and
Yeah.
our mom greeted us at the door and was like, "Hey guys, what are you going to do?" And so we're like, "We're going to go in the basement and watch Spider-Man." And we must have been 16 or 17. Mom goes, "Spider-Man? What does he have? Like 8 arms?" And then pulling it from nowhere, she goes, "Oh, like she got a great idea.
Yep.
8 arms? 8 hot dogs."
Ow.
Ow. Mimes eating hot dogs coming at her from every possible direction. Just kind of like, "Cool, Mom. We'll see you later." It was great. It was wonderful.
That's so funny.
I loved it, and that memory has lived on.
It's legendary.
It really, really is. Comes up not infrequently.
No.
So this doppelganger has 6 arms, 8 limbs total,
8 arms, 8 hot dogs.
razor-sharp teeth, and razor-sharp claws. It lacks Peter Parker's intelligence and compassion.
Oh.
It is mindless and vicious. To a certain I had this from a wiki. You can find the link for the source on this. It's brought back again or modified or something, and it's given the brain of a small dog.
What?
Yeah. So it's a human spider body with the mind of a dog turning into something of a pet for the other evil bad guys.
Oh
to
my
command.
God.
So it's just this like creature that you can sick on people, and then this 8-limbed thing is running at you with razor sharp teeth.
Holy crap.
Really crazy.
Yeah.
Really crazy. There's a version of Peter Parker called Man Spider, not Spider-Man.
Okay.
This is when Peter Parker tried to cure his condition and accidentally furthered his mutation,
Oh.
turning hairy and growing extra limbs.
Oh, he made himself extra spidery.
Very Jeff Goldblum The Fly.
Yeah,
Very science experiment gone wrong.
Right.
And now I'm less than human. Very scary, very cool.
Cool.
Spider-Man has a very iconic villain, the Lizard, who is his college professor, Kurt Connors,
Yeah.
who lost one of his arms when he served in the army and became obsessed with the reptilian limb regeneration. Like a lizard, if you pick it up by its tail, it can detach its tail and grow it back.
Right.
He became obsessed with that, and his experiment went wrong. He got his arm back, but became a giant lizard monster.
Yeah, it's a sweet one.
Very similar to Spider-Man.
Right.
Batman. Batman has a bunch of animal villains. Killer Croc, real name Waylon Jones, who was born with a condition that, depending on the interpretation, either gives him hard, leathery skin that people make fun of him and call him a crocodile, or literally has a condition that is devolving him into a reptile.
Yeah, he's crocodilian.
Yes, but the fascinating thing about Waylon Jones is that primarily he is just kind of a crazed serial killer. When he was a boy, he lived with his aunt, and she would mock him mercilessly. Think Aunt Petunia.
Yeah.
And call him Lizard Boy and stuff and berate him. He eventually murdered her, and he grows into a cannibal, and he eats people and kills people. That's what he is. He's not like a fun mob boss. He's not like, the Penguin.
No, this is dark.
Yeah, he's a serial killer bad guy.
Yeah, or think Red Dragon with the grandma constantly mocking.
Yeah, you're totally right. Yeah, he becomes a dragon man.
Yes, and then kills grandma.
Fun fact, you can ride with him for your pleasure.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. He would love it.
Yes. Now, very similar to Man Spider, I don't know which one of these came first, there is a Man Bat in the Batman universe.
Oh.
His name is Kirk Langstrom. I'm going to shock you. He was researching bats. He became one. So.
You don't say.
He became one. Now, it's cool. All right. The last thing I have to say to you, and then we can talk about our villages.
Yeah.
I found out this is not superheroes anymore. There's no more fun and games, Kristen. Here we go.
Okay,
This is
all
the
right.
big stuff. This is the big guns.
Ready to buckle down.
There was a TV show called Manimal.
Okay.
There's a TV show called Manimal from 1983 that was billed as like a man can transform into any animal to help the police solve crimes.
Oh my God.
Here's from the Wikipedia. While Jonathan had the ability to change himself into any animal, he would transform into a hawk and a Black Panther in nearly every episode.
It's really funny. That's all they had.
There were only 7 episodes. In one episode, he was shown to be able to assume aspects of various animals simultaneously, rather than adopt their physical forms. So he could have the agility and speed of a panther, or, quote, the fast strike and suppleness of a snake.
Ugh, I don't find snakes particularly supple.
Jonathan, you've become so supple.
You're like a snake.
How are you doing this? This led to the fantastic discovery that Manimal in 1983 was the subject of much sarcastic ribbing by David Letterman. He would have a nearly 9-minute segment called Manimal, Show at the Crossroads.
That's so funny. Show at the crossroads.
Yeah, he would have a psychic come in to predict whether or not Manimal would come back. The verdict was, quote, nope, not on another network, not in syndication, not on home cassettes. It's a ghost. It's history. It's vapor.
Oh my God.
Now, the worst news I could have possibly read comes next. There is a risk
Of
that
Manimal coming back?
Manimal, the movie starring Will Ferrell. So,
Oh, you know what? I came across that. I saw something about Will Ferrell and I just didn't really register it, but I was looking something up and I saw Will Ferrell's name in there.
it might happen.
And I was just like, I don't know what this is.
I've been receiving threats on the internet that might happen. And there you go. Those are my weirdo animal people that I
That's
looked up.
awesome.
Again, a total mess. I don't even know how to write the show notes for this episode.
Just put the links. It's all you can do.
I guess that's true.
Here, roll right into your Animal Crossing.
Oh, okay.
Home.
All right. Sure.
Yeah.
So here's what I came up with. We're going to, on Friday, the Animal Crossing game hits Nintendo Switch, Kristen and I will be, going fishing. We'll get our
Yeah.
bug nets. We'll be trying to build a museum.
It's going to be a
for
simpler
an
life.
owl who runs the museum. We're going to be
Ooh,
living
there are
very pleasant
museums?
lives, visiting each
Are
other's
there literally,
villages.
is there
Oh,
a
yeah.
museum?
Yes. You can dig up like fossils and stuff and try to build like a T-Rex
Oh, that's awesome.
in the museum, if it's like the old games at least.
Yeah.
So, we'll be visiting each other's stuff.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
you can visit ours. Look
Yes,
for our
by all
friend
means.
codes in the show notes if you're on the Switch and you have Animal Crossing.
Mm-hmm.
But here is my horror Animal Crossing, my Manimal Crossing. First of all, my town will be named Willsboro.
Oh, I didn't think about naming the town.
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
Much like Woodsboro.
Yes.
Scream, but Willsboro.
Yes.
There will be spooky hairless cats all over the place. The Loveland Frogman will be hanging out on the side of roads, sometimes under a poorly lit bridge.
Ooh.
You might see him and then look back and he's gone.
Very good.
The Krampus will be jumping from roof to roof each toy day, which is the Animal Crossing equivalent of Christmas.
Toy day.
It's real world clock, by the way. If you log into
I
Animal
know.
Crossing at night, it's night in the game. If you log in on December 25th, it's a holiday.
That's
They don't
part
call
of
it
what I
Christmas,
found
they call
very
it Toy Day.
exciting.
Yep. Very pleasant, very childish. Baphomet can show up in my village.
Ooh.
I'm saying
Is there
this
going
like
to be
it's a fact, by
controversy
the way.
over? No, I know.
I hope we all understand this is my fun
Yes.
imagination.
It's
of
a
this.
fantasy.
Yeah. Baphomet will show up and do its iconic pose
Yep.
and yammer about balance in the universe.
Great.
There
Everybody
is-
everybody walks a little faster
Yes.
when Baphomet's around.
Here's an Animal Crossing deep cut. Way back in the beginning, so much of the game is based on like you making incredibly minute changes to your town.
Yeah.
That if you turned off your system without saving it, it might screw something up. So the next time you log back in, there would be a mole who would pop out of the ground next to you named Mr. Rossetti, who would truly, it would take like 5 minutes of mashing through his dialogue boxes where he's going like, why would you do that? Why would you turn it off without saving? I'm telling you, I keep telling you, you can't do that. You're
That's-
supposed to save. Do you know why you're supposed to save? And it's like iconic
I guess
Animal
it-
Crossing.
Drives the point home.
So in my version, Baphomet is just telling you about balance in the universe and spiritualism and stuff. And you have to keep hitting A to get through it all until it's finally done.
That's really funny.
I might cultivate a little grove of trees, a little forest there where the Jersey Devil can live.
Ooh.
Perhaps even the version of the Blair Witch that Mary Brown claims to have seen in the original movie, which is a woman covered in hair,
Very slick.
fine horse hair.
Very slick way to incorporate.
I want that horse from the Denver International Airport to be posed in the center of town,
Ooh.
perhaps with a sensor bar. There will be a Sphinx who guards the entrance to my town. So should Kristen decide to stop by,
I'll never get in. So I'll be like, I don't know.
uninvited, yeah, you'll have to answer some riddles.
It's going to be tough.
There would be a mini game where the animals. Oh, this is so stupid. There would be a mini game where a bunch of animals have been using a matter transporter,
Okay.
and then they come through with their limbs all mixed up, kind of like the fly. And so then you have to put them right again. I definitely want a big vampire Batman, it says in here. And then the final thing that I've got is that Cat Hermione is in my bathroom and refuses to come out. that would be my monster Animal Crossing, my idealized Guide to the Unknown video game where I live alongside animal monsters.
That's incredible. Okay, so here's mine. I kind of worked backward from things that I would want in my town.
Sure.
And then who would inhabit them or work there or whatever. So, first of all, the Mothman would live in an abandoned nuclear power plant.
Ooh.
We don't use that. We use solar and wind power in my town, so there's no need for it.
Excellent.
But we just like to have them there.
I love
It's
it.
good to have an abandoned area of town that you feel is a little. Should probably avoid that, but I also find it exciting.
Plus, it gives you that feeling of like, you know what, I've got it good right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's something to compare yourself to. I would probably want like a tea or coffee place for people to hang out. If I go to a coffee place, I tend to get matcha lattes because too much coffee gives me anxiety.
Sure.
Matcha is originally Japanese, so I looked it up, and there is a creature called a ninjin, who I would have work in my coffee shop. The shop can be by a lake because this is a water creature from Japan. It's kind of like Bigfoot-esque. Sometimes it's told to be whale-like. So whichever version's there, I want them working at my coffee shop.
So when you go to the coffee shop, it has to be that like behind the coffee bar.
Yeah.
There's like a little pond back there.
Yeah, it has to be right there so that when you get in, the ninja can come out and serve you.
Yeah, very cool.
Very cool. So this is a little bit of a stretch, but I was thinking that will-o'-the-wisps are kind of Firefly-esque, at least. So I would have will-o'-the-wisps in lieu of street lamps.
I love that.
All around
I love
lighting
that.
it.
You might be pleasantly surprised. I had something spoiled for me about Animal Crossing. Old Willy Wisp may be in there.
I would like that. I want some woods. I like taking a woods walk, so they're going to need to be there. And I like Bigfoot to be in there because I like knowing that he's out there, and I can practice my squatch calls in there.
Ooh, yeah, of course. Your Kristen's classic Squatch calls.
I need a place to practice my squatch calls. I want Dracula bats around to eat the buggies, but I don't want to see them. I find bats scary.
Are you perhaps referring to vampire bats?
Yeah.
Dracula bats.
Yes.
Okay.
But I want them just in the trees, and I don't know they're there. I don't like it, but I want them to eat the bugs around.
Bleh.
And lastly, /not, because I have a couple of things that aren't quite animals, but I want to mention them. This is the last animal thing, and it works perfectly with what you were talking about. I want Spider-Man, but a more spidery version of Spider-Man.
Oh.
So, like one of the things you were talking
doppelganger.
about, doppelganger version, Spider-Man can work at the movie theater in town. I really like going to the movies because he's got so many eyes to watch the movies. He would love working there.
Well, wait a minute. Do you think we enjoy the movies more than a Cyclops would because we have 2 eyes?
No.
I guess we can watch 3D movies, though.
That's true.
He could watch like 9D movies.
Yeah, that's true. So
Yeah.
He would just like it. He
He
thinks
could
it's
also
fun. He
take
could have
the tickets. He could take everybody's tickets at once.
Yeah, he would work really, really quickly because of all those eyes. He could have one on each screening somehow.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Wonderful.
And then the last two that they don't really fit into our thing, but I thought of them. I also really like Target. And I'd miss Target. So I wanted Target in my area. And I thought that Gossamer from the Looney Tunes could work there because he's all red. That big red hairy monster.
Gossamer. Oh my God. I was thinking about
Sweetum.
yes, I was thinking Sweetums from the Muppets. Yeah. Oh my God. Is there...
They're very similar.
I bet there's Gossamer Sweetums fanfic.
Oh, God. Probably. Well, you
Let's
guys can
leave
look
it
that
there.
up on your own time.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
but no. Almost leave it there.
Okay.
They're also not animals, but I would like, as far as creatures, brownies. Those little elf-like creatures. I'd like them to help me with my housework.
Oh, that's lovely. I bet
Yeah.
they would.
Yeah, they like it.
Yes, that's what they do for
Right,
fun.
right.
And then that means that Brownies and Daniel Stern,
Yes.
maybe he's driving through
Bring him
and then
along.
later on he tells people
Yeah.
things about your
There's
village
this
that
messed
are
up town
maybe not true.
that probably aren't true. And he's
Yeah.
like drinking while he's driving.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Remember? Ugh, I
Don't
know.
like that.
That's the dark part
for
of that
people
episode.
who are not familiar with deep cuts from Guide to the Unknown, there's literally
one
an
of the best
episode on our
episodes.
feed called Brownies and Daniel Stern.
It's great. It's really good.
It's wonderful.
Yep. So that's it.
There you go, everybody.
Yeah, so come visit us in our Animal Crossing towns. They won't be quite like that,
No.
but
I will
you know.
fill mine with monsters. I will say I've been digging into the like app version.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people like point out is like significantly lesser, but there's like a dog mummy
Oh,
that lives
cool.
in my little town, and I'm gonna make a tricked out horror village.
I mean, if that's an option,
Willsboro is gonna be a spooky fun place.
if that's the option, I probably am too, because
Yeah.
that's my jam.
Oh,
so
it's gonna be wonderful.
it's gonna be fun.
So
So,
there
yeah,
you go. It's all about joy, bubbly
Mm-hmm.
brightness here on Guide to the Unknown. We're about that
That's-
pleasant life.
right.
I'm looking forward to it this weekend.
Leaning hard into it.
All right, everybody. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
hanging out with us. We hope you had a good time. Learned some things about werewolves,
Yeah.
the Sphinx, a goat man, Animorphs.
Yeah,
They're slug enemies.
not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week for more creepy old stories. If you want more of Guide to the Unknown, you can follow at GTTUpod on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
You can get extra episodes of Guide to the Unknown by going to patreon.com/Guide to the Unknown.
Yep.
If you become a Netherworld...
Patreon.com/GTTUpod.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
my bad. If you back us on the starting at $4 Netherworld Warrior tier,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to get access to like a dozen shows
Yeah,
right off the bat.
totally. You have a lot to
Instantaneously.
dig into.
And you'll get anything new that we put up there.
And it's video and audio, which is nice.
Totally. Hit up tpublic.com/user/GTTUpod, especially right now, because as Kristen pointed out,
Right.
I guess we didn't even do this. TeePublic
Yes.
themselves have a sale going on right now so that you can get some percentage knocked off.
Yeah, it's
your
up to
order.
35% off. So check it out. On our social media, I actually put up a post with people's merch that they've already bought that they've taken pictures of. I love seeing it in the wild. So you can check that out to see some kind of real life pictures of some of the things you can get. But there's a lot more on the site. So tpublic.com/user/GTTUpod.
I absolutely love seeing all the pictures that people have sent us of their stuff. Pillows,
It's trippy.
shirts, hoodies, tank tops, stuff like that. Love it, love it, love it. Keep them coming. It's so cool.
It's really, really cool. We'd also super appreciate it if you left us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you like to leave reviews. 5 stars. It's a really big deal because you're kind of vouching for us then to people who might want to listen to the show.
Yeah. If you want to keep up with us, you can also follow Kristen or myself online individually.
That's right. I'm at Chillin' Kristen on Instagram and Twitter.
And I am the Myth Traveler. So thank you all so much. We will see you again next time. But until that time comes, we must travel.
Back to the netherworld go we.
And to our little animal towns.
Yes. It's where my reality is.
Really looking forward to
I can't wait. I really can't. I'm really
gonna be great.
excited. I'm probably going to wake up early on Friday.
It's going to be great. Cool. What's going on, everybody?
Yeah. Hey, guys. I was going to take these off and squeeze my brain.
I love the sound of this town. Love that. CBFR says Kristen's town sounds like a cute and charming. Sounds all cute and charming.
Yeah.
Ninjins serving matcha lattes. Will
Does
Lewis
sound
flying
nice.
around. Squatch calling in the forest, and a spider-eyed Peter Parker playing jazz.
That's what I want.
Awesome. Hey, wait. What does this mean? Hold on. CBFR then says Will and emojis for a wolf, a devil, and another devil. Kristen is a unicorn, a rainbow, and a fairy?
I've got some scaries in there. I feel like my town's still a little scary. And thank you guys for saying it's a great show.
Thank you. Bob, when did we do a Dan Aykroyd impression? What did I miss? I don't even know that we did it. Waiting pools behind the coffee bar, says Rachel.
Yeah, for the
Great.
Ninjin. It'sNingen if you guys want to look it up, I believe.
Yeah, you know what? I wanted to do, because CBFR says that I forgot the Mothman.
Uh-huh.
I did forget the Mothman, but
Mothman rules.
I also combed through the Guide to the Unknown feed to try, because we've definitely talked about human monsters before, which is where I pulled the Loveland Frogman.
Totally.
Who otherwise I'd kind of forgotten.
Yeah, that's a fun one, though.
Yeah, but it's fun, yeah. I love that you called out the Mothman, though. I totally forgot. And I love that you have an abandoned nuclear plant in your town.
Hell yeah.
Which is insane. Michelle says, what about Spider Ham? Great point.
It's a good question.
Great point.
Mm-hmm.
God. Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. There are a lot of animals out there. I was originally going to do, for a little peek behind the curtain here, I was originally going to do centaurs and satyrs.
Oh, that's right.
Lean heavily into Greek mythology, although the Sphinx is from Greek mythology as well. But as soon as I started looking at centaurs, it's so complicated because they'll just be like, Heteronomix was, descended from Cardromi.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's too much.
And then there's
not fun.
There's information about the satyrs that is not family friendly.
Well,
whatsoever.
I was trying to remember. I'm going to sound so simultaneously stupid and smart. Is there a writer named like Sartre, like Sartyr?
Yeah.
And aren't they kind of sexually active? I think.
I don't know.
So,
didn't they write No Exit?
I don't know.
People?
Maybe you're right. See, I kind of know a thing, but then it's totally off. So I was wondering if the satyr and Sartre are in any way connected, and it was because of that.
No, I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the satyr is almost like a goat man kind of a thing. So I wanted to look up like Pan and stuff, but like even right off the bat, the image on Wikipedia is like
dong heavy.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Whoa. There's a lot going on there. I had to cover my eyes.
Started crying.
Good. Yeah. All right, everybody.
All right, guys. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I loved it. That was really fun.
Yeah, that was super fun.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
We hope that you are all well.
Of course.
And keeping yourselves occupied
Yep.
and distracted and having as much fun as you can possibly have.
Yeah. If you don't already, definitely follow our social media because we're probably going to keep doing some extra stuff to all keep occupied.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, what's this? Hang on a second. Drew says, in my teens, I dated a guy who honestly thought that when he turned 21, he would turn to a werewolf on the first full moon. That relationship didn't last, but he was very passionate about it. Yeah, I knew it. I knew there are werewolf people.
Have you kept track of him at all? Are you?
Yeah, we have eyes on this guy.
Yeah.
Did it happen?
We need eyes on this guy. It may have happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for all we know.
If you're not in contact with him,
Yeah.
then you have no way of proving that it didn't happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Just saying.
Maybe you're not in contact because it happened and he took to the wood.
Yeah. CBFR says
Yes.
Pan is the god of the
The-
bacchanal, orgies, and drinking.
So it makes sense, I guess. Pants
yeah.
packing.
It's pack and eat. Well, I certainly packed my things and got the hell out of there. I threw away that laptop.
Yeah, not for me.
Start fresh.
Please.
No, thank you.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, Drew, post in the group by all means if you have any updates.
Yes, I need to know more.
Yes.
All right, everybody.
We're a peace out.
Yeah, have a great rest of your night. We will
Yep.
see you again soon.
Yeah.
Maybe even sooner than you think. Who
Yeah.
knows with us? We might try to pop up and do some fun things.
Who
here
knows
and
with
there.
us?
Yeah, exactly. We're
Yeah.
so unexpected. All right.
All right. Bye, guys.
Smell you
have
later.
a good night.
Bye.